Okay, so good evening. Bezrat Hashem, today we'll be learning the topic of Kiddush Bimkom Suda, doing Kiddush in a place of eating. And we will go through the Halachot in Reish Ein Gimel 273, but we'll start this time from the Gemara, because this, oh wow, okay. Today's learning will give us also maybe a summary of Kiddush, and maybe also hopefully the understanding of purpose of Kiddush. Why do we have Kiddush? Great, we found it. Here in person, so we have a real Seudah here, and a real Kiddush here, and he's really over. Okay. Okay. So as we said for last week, when we hear bracha online, so we can actually say Amen. So we can say Amen on the bracha online. That's a halacha we learn here. That's I'm just for the bracha. Okay, so we'll be looking into the Gemara in Pesachim, Afkuf Aleph. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai melech haolam she'akol yeh midbaro. We're looking at the Gemara in Pesachim Kuf Aleph. Some of the Rishonim to see the different opinions, because, as I said, it's not just halacha class today; it's also to try and get the idea of Kiddush. Okay, the Gemara in Pesachim Kuf Aleph brings argument between Rav and Shmuel, regarding people who do Kiddush in Shul. Here there's no minhag to do Kiddush in Shul. Memphis, before COVID, there used to be a minhag to do Kiddush in Shul. And then it was a question, the Shulchan Aruch writes that this minhag should be cancelled. Other poskim say that places who have the minhag should keep the minhag. It's as a basis to it.
There's a lot of things we don't do since COVID.
Right.
There really are. Like,
many things stopped since COVID.
That's true. Aliyahs, the gabayim between Aliyahs on Shabbat. Now it's pretty. We've adopted the shortcut.
Some COVID did do quite a lot of changes.
They're going to take it.
Yeah. And one of the changes that happened in that shul, they stopped doing Kiddush in shul on the night. There's an argument between Rav and Shmuel. People who did Kiddush in shul, but they didn't eat them. With the Yotze Yedei Chova, or the drinking of the wine, and the Kiddush, Rav holds that they were Yotze Kiddush, although they didn't eat them. And Shmuel says, Shmuel Amar, Af Yedei Kiddush Lo Yatze. Even in Kiddush, they want Yotze Yedei Chova. Okay, why not?
It's a personal thing. Everyone's got to do it. Women, the answer for the women is because women who actually went through it. We can't be so meh.
On Kiddush in Shul. So why did they do Kiddush in Shul? The Gemara says that for the guests, those times there were many guests who didn't have a place to eat. So they brought a bit of food with them.
Hebrew know how to make.
I didn't know how to make it. That's why they do it in Chutz La'aretz, for people who don't know how to make Kiddush. The original minhag was for people who didn't have a way to sleep or eat. So they ate in Shul. So they did Kiddush in Shul for them, but all the people who went to the houses had to do Kiddush again. Why? And here comes Shmuel. Shmuel en Kiddush ela Bimkom Seudah. According to Shmuel, Kiddush must be in a place that we eat. That's the base of the halacha, that Kiddush must be in a place of where we eat.
I got lost. So one says you can do it. You can do it.
You can do it.
You don't have to do it at home again.
As soon as you do Kiddush in Shul, even if you don't eat them, that's it. You've done Kiddush. That's enough.
Really?
Okay? That's Rav. The halacha is like Shmuel. Halacha is like Shmuel, but we need to do Kiddush in a place of the Seudah. So we do Kiddush in a place.
Why do we decide like Shmuel?
Why do we decide like Shmuel? Because here we have the Gemara. Please see many rabbis who hold like him. We will see some of them today.
That's
So it's
why
Daf
on
Kuf Aleph.
Shabbat day we have to have the mezonot right after.
Yeah.
Because that's
Right. That's why on Shabbat day.
Sudah.
Exactly. That's why if in a plate, so sometimes the mohel has cookies. That's why in the shul, if you have in big shuls and they have a kiddush in one place and then they do the suda in another place. Sometimes the person who has kiddush, he has cookies for himself. Does he have to have that? We'll hopefully learn it today. But kiddush needs to be in a place of eating. Before we go into the details of it, it's interesting to see the Rashbam, because it's a famous Rashbam quoted by many Achronim of today, many rabbis of the later generations. And he brings two reasons why Kiddush needs to be in a place of a Seudah. Okay, and it might be, bringing to the question, might be the Shir of Rabbi Asher Weiss. He argues this with what we're going to say now, but it's a very common explanation in the yeshiva that there's two aspects of Kiddush, or why Kiddush needs to be in a place of a Seudah. Let's look at the Rashbam inside. Rashbam was the grandson of Rashi, and he had on Psachim, some of Psachim, he's on the side and the Rashi. We have Rashi here on the top and Rashbam underneath him. So Rashbam says one option is Pasuk in Yeshayahu. We mentioned that many times already. Of Shabbat is something else. וקראת לשבת עונג. במקום שאתה קורא לשבת, in a place where you call Shabbat. How do we call Shabbat? Kiddush, right? כלומר, קריאה דקידוש, שם תהא עונג. Okay, או מדרשו. That's the midrash. So the way we learn the pasuk from Yeshayahu, in a place where you do the kiddush, that's a place where you do the meal. That's a place where you do the meal. Okay, so it's a we learn from the psukim, from the pasuk.
It's not so obvious.
It's not so obvious, but it's v'karat al Shabbat oneg. Oneg Shabbat is something very important. We mentioned that a few times, and Bezrat Hashem will also mention that later. That we have to be a different day with our clothes and our food should be different on Shabbat. But v'karat al Shabbat oneg, in a place of calling Shabbat, there should be the oneg, and you're saying it's not so obvious. Well, maybe we are missing here something of the understanding of Kiddush, or maybe the understanding of oneg, which hopefully we will reveal today.
Okay.
Hopefully. Inami, there's another option. It's a svara. We don't learn it from the pasuk. It's a svara. Okay, it's logic. Kiddush al hayayin. Since the Gemara will say later in Tzachim that Baal made Kiddush in wine, or said Kiddush needs to be in wine. We mentioned already a few weeks ago that according to most of the poskim, Kiddush Midoraita is just saying a few words of Shabbat in the beginning of Shabbat, and our sages established it on wine. So since Kiddush is established on wine, as we'll say later, Mistama, it may make sense, Al Hayayin, to B'Shat HaSeudah Ukba, it makes sense that the Kiddush was established on the wine in the meal, because in those days they used to have wine during the meals, and that wine, the Chashiv, it's an important wine, it's part of the meal. So we want to make Kiddush important. We have it in the wine of the meal. Okay, so it's logic. So here we have many of the later rabbis see here there's a question when we want to connect Kiddush and Seudah. Is it from the Kiddush aspect or from the Seudah aspect? And we'll see, we might maybe see a difference between those two aspects.
From bread.
Which they have to be bread, which you can make from a bread, right? You can make Kiddush from bread.
Let's say that bread.
And I'll explain what I mean from the Kiddush aspect or from the Seudah aspect. From the Kiddush aspect is we want Kiddush to be important. Wine, we want it to be important. How do we make it important? We do it on wine. How do we make it even more important? We do it on wine, which is part of the meal. So how do we make Kiddush important? From the Kiddush aspect, how do we make Kiddush important? We do it in the wine, which is part of the meal. So that's one aspect. That's the logic, the common logic that the Rashbam brings in the end.
Well, basis.
Yeah. What's the drasha? Okay, we have to call Shabbat, and we have to. Well, how do we call Shabbat? How do we mention Shabbat? By Kiddush. And the halacha is in a place where you call Shabbat, in a place where you mention Shabbat, that's where you have your Seudah. So it's more, the meal needs to be in a place of the wine. Not so much from the wine aspect, it's more from the meal aspect. Okay, so that's two maybe aspects of looking at that. So I think it's a very typical yeshivish way of thinking, and we can maybe see what might be the difference. Okay, Kiddush aspect, and then bottom line, Kiddush needs to be in a place of a Seuda. So what do you care? Just have them together. Why are you asking from which aspect is it? Okay, so that's that's a common question. Now, when we go into the halachot, let's try and think together how do they connect? How do they connect? Hopefully. So we will try to learn today two things. One is, what do you call a Bimkom Seuda? We say Kiddush Bimkom Seuda. We know what Kiddush is, right? Kiddush is taking wine and saying the bracha and saying the psukim, right? So how do we define the meal? And how do we define the place of the meal? We have to define two things. When we eat, does it have to be exactly the same spot? The Beit Knesset. If I do Kiddush here in the main shul, in the sanctuary, and I go out, it becomes Seuda. If I do Kiddush, but it's the same area, if I do Kiddush in the kitchen, what?
Where you sit down.
That's a question. There's one. To move from one end of the table to the other end of the table, is that become Seuda? If I move from room to room inside the same house, for example, sometimes on Shabbat morning, especially on the summer, we come home, we do Kiddush on a bit of cake. Then we get the table ready and the make salad and everything, and then half an hour later, so we'll have our main meal in the room just next to us. So it's in the same house. We can almost see where we will be eating. Is that called Bimkom Seuda or no? So that's a few questions we'll.
That's on Shabbat day or
Shabbat day. Shabbat day. Yeah. So so we have two questions. One.
We don't have to. I mean, we don't have to make it this year, and then we go home and we just have to until you're done.
Oh, so that's a question. Can you do Kiddush here? Okay, can you do Kiddush here? Not eat anything.
On Saturday day, yes. On Friday night, no.
Why?
Because Friday night is more of the stricter rules.
So you think Friday night is the right time?
We're allowed to make Kiddush on whiskey as opposed to wine.
Yeah.
Wine has to be on Friday night. You can't make it on a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Right. So
Friday night is the right time. You're saying,
okay.
but I'll ask you about that. In the writer, what Danny is saying, Friday night is midoraita. So Friday night we should be more stringent about it. Friday night is midoraita, but according to some poskim at least, when we daven, we mentioned Kiddush, right? We're mentioning words of Shabbat, right?
Kiddush that was in the Torah, but it's not Kiddush.
We say Akdashta, Mekadesh Israel v'Shabbat, Mekadesh Shabbat.
That only works on
Okay, so but maybe from the Doraita level,
that's it. So
maybe from
it's not. I don't think it's that way.
Maybe from the Doraita level, fine. Maybe I'm left when I go home. I'm left only with the rabbinical level. Maybe. Okay, maybe. It's a question, right? It's a question. Maybe. So we have to define two things. One, if changing from place to place is considered, I don't know. Second, if what do you call the Seuda? Bread or cookies? Like, some people won't eat cookies. Say, I want to eat bread. It has to be bread from Bimkom Seuda. So how do you define a Seuda? So these are two things we'll discuss today. And maybe they're connected to the question we began with. And that's maybe I said today it's more of an even class in depth. Why does Kiddush need to be Bimkom Seuda? Is it more from the meal aspect? Like we have to do Kiddush, and where we do Kiddush, so that's where we have the meal. Or we want the wine to be important, so the wine needs to be important in the place of eating. Okay. Maybe another question could be, some Bimkom, I'm not sure if you know this, but some Bimkom have, maybe both of them. That could be. I think the answer is actually both of them. I think my feeling is both of them. Yeah, the feeling is both. Both of them are right. That's my feeling. Yeah, it's both of them. That's my feeling. But some will say and argue and say it's a Machlokes Rishonim. So some people will say it's an argument between Rishonim. So some Rishonim hold like this, and some Rishonim hold like. Let's start from the Seuda definition, and then we'll go to the meal. Okay. Although although Shulchan Aruch starts in the Bimkom to define the Makom. Okay, let's start from the Seuda definition. So I'm in Reish Ein Gimel, Naif Hey. Afterwards, we'll go back. The reason I'm doing it because I think, at least for me to learn, it's easier first to learn the definition of what is a Seuda. Look at the Geonim. Ha'de'en Kiddush ela bimkom Seuda. Kiddush needs to be in a place of a Seuda. Afilu achad davar mu'at, even if he ate something small. Or shata kos yain, shechayav la bracha. He even he ate he drank wine.
It's very Kiddush.
It's the Kiddush wine, right?
That's we're discussing eating, not drinking.
Eating, right? So
wine is not
wine is not
wine
drinking.
is drink, not eating.
Exactly. So we'll try to explain in just a moment. Okay. So Ketvel Gonim. So the Gonim, right? Even if he ate something small, which means bread here, okay, kazait of bread, or shata kos yain shechayav la bracha, or he drank wine, the bracha on wine. Yatzai de Kiddush bimkom Seuda. So he did the aspect of Kiddush bimkom Seuda, and the gomer Seudato b'makom acher, and he can continue his Seuda somewhere else. The Geonim say, maybe I should start from Tosfot, but for now doesn't bring Tosfot. The Geonim say that even if I drank some wine or I had a bit of bread, that's fine. That's enough. I had a kazait of bread. It doesn't have to be the whole meal. I can start my meal in one place, in a place of Kiddush, and then continue my meal somewhere else.
So why do you say bread? Small amount of food, some herring.
Small amount of herring, because that's the Geonim. The Achronim. Let's continue the Shulchan Aruch. Okay, but that's the Geonim. Let's just good question. Let's continue the Shulchan Aruch. V'davka achal lechem or shata yain. It's only if he ate bread or wine. Aval achal perot lo. But if he ate fruit, so no. Okay, so the Shulchan Aruch brings the idea that he has to eat or bread or wine. So the Geonim are a bit lenient and a bit not lenient, okay, a bit stringent. On one hand, they say if you eat, it must be bread, right? Eat bread. On the other hand, they say you can even drink wine. Now you say everyone who does Kiddush drinks wine, right? It's also true because if you do Kiddush in shul, only one person or two people or three people drink wine, the rest just hear Kiddush. So if I hear Kiddush in shul, I'm going to get the Geonim, I must eat bread. I can't eat just cookies or fruit. If I go to shul, according to the Geonim, I need to eat bread. Okay. If I drink wine, that's fine. Tosfot is even more stringent than him, than the Geonim. Midday, I'm reading just 2 lines in Tosfot, in Tzachim, same page we go beforehand. When you eat something in Seuda, it must be bread. So you can see for Tosfot, and maybe also the Geonim, it needs to be a real meal. It needs to be a real meal, It needs to be a real meal. It's not just, okay, just eat something. It needs to be a real meal. If we go to the Rashbam, the two opinions, there are 2 options in the Rashbam, why does Kiddush need to be Bimkom Seuda? Is it something that in a place of Kiddush, is it because you want Kiddush to be important, so you want Kiddush to be in a place of thing, or it's the Seuda, the meal needs to be in a place of Kiddush. So what do you think? What fits more?
On Shabbat night or day?
We're not talking about Shabbat. We're just talking about why do we need to eat in a place of, why do we need to eat bread? Why do we need to eat bread and not something else?
Bread?
Why not just eat anything? So bread, so you're saying bread is more chashuv, right? It is more chashuv. So you're saying that the idea is Kiddush needs to be important. How do we make Kiddush important? By having bread, by having bread. Okay, so that fits according to one side of the reason of Kiddush Bimkom Seudah. How do you make Kiddush important? Have bread. Okay, so you can see maybe understanding the reason why Kiddush needs to be in a place of meal can maybe have an afkamina, can have an outcome, a halacha l'maaseh on what is considered a meal. Okay, it needs to be a meal, something which makes the Kiddush important. Okay, so we saw Tosfot, we saw the Geonim. We saw the Geonim. Now, the Achronim say, like the Magen Abraham, says, one second. If bread is enough and wine is enough, okay, what's more important, cookies or wine? Wow, time is running. I'll have to go fast. Cookies or wine? What's more important? Cookies. Wine has an importance in it. It's true. Wine has an importance. From a Seudah aspect, I eat a lot of cookies. I had a friend once that his wife baked 50 cookies. She comes back home, 25 of them are gone. He had it for breakfast. Yeah. So he has to do it at a time. Yeah, if you eat a lot of cookies, that's a kibbutz Seudah. You have to do it at a time. Says the Magen Abraham. Also cookies, any mazonos could be good. Yeah, because any mazonos, if some achronim even say it doesn't need to be mazonos, it can be even fruit. It can be even fruit. Okay. Some say not every fruit, only dates, because dates is an important fruit. It's mezin, shadamanim. It also is considered maybe a superfood. Dates are considered superfood.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Gemara looks. I mean, the Gemara said the dates satisfied. Right.
That's probably the main thing. No?
It's also satisfying.
Superfood from a nutritional point of view.
The Gemara said it's a satisfying fruit.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
satisfying. Yeah.
Yeah. So it doesn't need to be mazonos. It can be even a fruit. So why is that? If we want Kiddush, if we want Kiddush to be in a place of honor where we enjoy Shabbat, doesn't matter how you enjoy Shabbat. You enjoy Shabbat with bread, great. If you enjoy Shabbat with a cookie and a cracker with herring, that's fine too. Okay, so according to that opinion, that's fine. That could be also fine too. I said maybe both of them are right, and we need to be from all the thoughtful aspect. It's just because we don't have a lot of time. Let's just go to halacha. So we finish this topic this week, and next time we can start a different topic. So anyway, so the Shulchan Aruch says that you have to have bread or wine. Okay, there's a debate between the Achronim. Someone who drinks the wine does need to drink the melolugma for the revit wine Kiddush plus another revit of wine for Bimkom Seudah, or is it enough to have once? That's a debate between the Achronim. It's better to have two. Okay, and the Mishnah Brura brings the different Achronim, different opinions about maybe having fruit, maybe having mazonos. Okay, so in mazonos we are more makel. In mazonos we can have cookies after Kiddush, and that's considered Bimkom Seudah. What about fruits? And the Mishnah Brura says, and as you mentioned a few times, there's a difference between the daytime and the nighttime. Why? The daytime is Doraita, there's a brachat for us, and the nighttime is Doraita. The daytime, it's a small kiddush. It's not really Doraita. It's we just say bracha b'gafen and we call it kiddush haraba because to make it big. But really, it has this of an importance. So for the daytime, you can be somech on the Shitei Geburim who hold that you can have even fruit. Okay, so that's between daytime and nighttime. But in you can have mezonot, and in the daytime, for sure you can have mezonot. And if someone is very hungry, you can have just, and he doesn't have cake, so you can have just fruit. Let's just learn fast about the Bimkom. What about changing from place to place? And here again, I got one good bit because of the time. We do have here halachot which remind us the halachot of changing a place in the middle of a meal. If I'm now eating a meal and I now move from place to place, do I need to say another brach? I won't go into it now, but the halachot of Kiddush remind us a bit the halachot of changing place from place to place in the middle of a meal. So I'm now going back to the beginning of Reish Ayin Gimel, and we will learn it fast. So the Shulchan Aruch says, we won't read all of it aside. Kiddush needs to be in the place of a meal, and in the same room, from corner to corner, that's considered the same place. So if I'm this corner of the table and I finished, and I'm moving to that corner of the table, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. Even if it's a very, very big hall. Okay, even if I had in mind to eat here when I did Kiddush, and after I finished Kiddush and I had in mind to eat here, all of a sudden I see my friend coming and he sits in the end of the hall on the other side, and decide to move, since it's the same hall, it's fine. Some say, another opinion, that even if it's from the house to the backyard, front yard, to the mirpeset, if I see the place, that's fine. Okay, so if I see the place, that's fine. But it needs to be in the same area, okay, the same house. Let's say 2 rooms in the same house, the mirpeset and the house, the front yard of the house, or maybe from the top floor to the bottom floor. It needs to be the same connection. Okay, so that we connect. Yeah, but that's if I change from place to place, and I didn't have in mind to change from place to place. Okay, so I did Kiddush in the idea of having my Suda here on the top floor, and then all of a sudden a friend came to the bottom floor and came down and sat down with him. Since it's in the same house, it's fine. He brings here in the next halacha even a bigger Kiddush. If I do Kiddush here, and I had in mind to move to another room and eat there, that's fine too. It reminds us a lot of the halachot of Seuda, and we can see here the definition.
Start your meal, I can finish.
And finish it exactly. So yeah, I can eat hamotzi here and have in mind to continue to the other place and in the mind that. So in big shuls, common in other places where they do Kiddush inside the shul, and then they move to the social hall and eat there. Since they have in mind, and everyone knows that's how you do Kiddush. Okay, that's how you do Kiddush. You eat here, you do Kiddush here, and you have in mind to move to the other hall. That's fine. Okay, that's fine. But the Rama says that if we're talking, that Kiddush and Sudan need to be close to each other. Right away, don't wait now for half an hour and eat. Yeah. What happens if a person did Kiddush and did not eat? I mentioned, needs to do Kiddush again. It's not your Seder Chovah, needs to do Kiddush again. Okay. And let's just learn maybe one more halacha here, and then one more halacha, and then we'll summarize it up. The Shulchan Aruch here brings an opinion that Kiddush must be Leor Haner, where we have the candles. It's maybe here has some hint in the Gemara here, but Kiddush needs to be in a place of the candle. Now we don't prosecute for halacha, okay, and like that, and you can do Kiddush even for other place of a candle. And if that's a halakha. Now you can ask, well, what's the connection between Kiddush and the candle? Maybe what's the connection between Kiddush and the Seuda? I did Kiddush, I mentioned Shabbat. Why does it have to be Bimkom Seuda? Okay. And we've been mentioned a few times, and here we just can say it out loud when we finish the idea here is Kiddush and the meal are very much connected in the idea part behind them. Not just the technical connection. Okay, it says in the pasuk, "V'karata Shabbat oneg." Mention Shabbat in the place of the oneg. No, part of Shabbat, and part of the idea of Shabbat, the holiness of Shabbat, is to enjoy Shabbat, to make the food holy. So for us to be connected to Shabbat, even in the to uplift the food into a place of holiness. That's part of the idea of Shabbat. And the oneg Shabbat, when we eat on Shabbat, it's not just I'm eating now a nice piece of meat. I'm now sanctifying Shabbat by eating it. So there's a deep connection between it. So much of a deep connection between enjoying Shabbat and honoring Shabbat. You might even think that the candles, which also have an aspect of honoring Shabbat and enjoying Shabbat with a nice candles and light, you might even think they're connected. The Shulchan Aruch says no, it's not connected. But we might think it's connected. The idea of Kiddush, it's not just Kiddush is not just to remember Shabbat, is to enjoy Shabbat. Right. Yeah.
That's
Okay.
the original connection, like the Immaculate Conception. That's the original connection.
Yeah.